So hi everyone, today we will be working with React. The video is completely about front end. We are going to do a lot of things. I am going to explore about how linear equations can integrate with React. So it seems actually weird to talk about linear equations and React in the same sentence. But I guess this is something that I just figured out haywirely, and this works actually. Many a times there are these things which we have learned in our childhood. Sometimes it just comes up in your mind and it just starts working. So why am I telling this to you is because it's just something that I had explored and I just wanted to share about it. If you go to, I have figured out this site out. So over here, if you just look at some sites that have scrolling animation, so there you might have seen some sites where you go and you scroll down and there are lots of things on your screen that keep moving. So this is something that we wanted to do. If you see this one, uh, you can see that there are things which are moving. There are this, so this is basically called as parallax, but we are not going to do exactly parallax but something of this sort. Let's, as you scroll down, there are different animations based on your scroll position. So this is something that we are going to do today. And yeah, so why would linear equations be important over here? So I just feel that if you just look at this site simply, so there are these different divs that are placed over one another, and the only thing that comes to my mind for the first time is that there are two variables. One is the scroll and one is the position of this div. So there's a dependent variable and there's an independent variable. So the first thing that comes up in our mind is the linear equation. So let's see how this linear equation works. Just to recall, we have learned this far back in our schools. Just to recall, linear equation looks of the form y equals mx plus c, where m is the slope, y is the dependent variable, and x is the independent variable. So I'll just write it down here. So y is the dependent variable and m is the slope. mm, X is the independent variable and c is nothing but a constant. Yeah, so this is the basic of linear equations, and just to recall, I'll also write the formula over here so that we can refer to it as and when required. Let's say we have 2 points. So basically, for any, okay, so I'll explain with the site itself. I don't know what it was, Wix maybe. Yeah, so this is the site that we were looking at. So if you just look at this, uh, okay, so if you just look at this, the position of this thing, the space, meets and design, these three different divs, if you just look at this, the position changes according to the scroll position. So the what might be changing? So if you just look at this, two things that might be changing is the one is the rotation, and the another transform that is happening is the x transform, maybe x, and yeah, so the x transform and the rotation transform. So these two things are dependent only on one thing, and that is the scroll position. As you scroll up, the rotation happens in a certain way, and as you scroll down, it rotates in a certain way. So it's as simple as we can just take an initial point. At this initial point, let's say it has a scroll something, and it has uh, yeah, it has a scroll. The scroll position of this document is something, and it has a rotation of something. So you have a dependent variable, which is the rotation, and an independent variable, which is the scroll position. So yeah, here you will have you will get to have one point, and as you scroll down, here you'll get to see its end, and this is the final point. So at this final point you'll have some rotation, which is 0 degrees here, and a scroll position at which it should be 0 degrees. So that's it. I mean, there will be two equations over here also for the X transform, but that's the basic part where you are out of which we will be building this animation. So so there's a dependent variable and an independent variable, which is scroll position, and the dependent variable is the rotation or the x position, the x transform. Okay, so yeah, so this is how it works. Now, how do we implement it with linear equations? That we'll see while coding itself. So as we have seen, there's a initial point and a final point. We need to know how to create an equation out of these 2 points. So let's say if we have 2 points, um, let it be x1 comma y1, and another point is x2 comma y2. Okay, so these are the 2 points that we have. The basic principle of these 2 points and a line passing through these 2 points is that a line passing through these points is the only line that passes through these points. So, and what we need to know is the equation of this line, so that at any point of scroll, at any point of the dependent variable, we can find an independent variable. Obviously it will extend up till infinity, but we just are working in this range from x1 y1 to x2 y2 along this line. This is the only range that we are caring about. Now, so how will you convert this line into this format of equation? We know all of these things because we have learned it in our schools itself, and the equation formula for this equation is y minus y1. Now we will calculate the slope over here. In the numerator it would be y2 minus y1, and in the denominator x2 minus x1, or whatever. I mean, you can also put it as y1 minus y2 upon x1 minus x2, never mind. And x multiplied by x minus x1. So this is the formula that we will be using throughout the application, that will help us build some animations. Okay, so let's start building the application. I'll first create a directory, linear equations, cd into this. I'll just create React app. Let's start doing this. The React app is ready, and we'll start coding. So what are we building? So I actually I won't be using images a lot, and I can't use that because obviously I don't own any of such images that would help us building the website. So I will work mostly with text, and we'll play with this text only, and we will scale it up, or we will increase its letter spacing. We will do all sorts of things. So what we will be building is one thing that I always feel is that for wishing people, or for sending any messages, we always use a greeting card, or we use a message, or we send a letter. So letters are not sent nowadays, but if you send some gift or something, people do send letters with them. So yeah, these are some of the options, but one option which I feel can be a potential option that could that could really give an experience to a person, and also the person can closely feel this experience. That would be a website, because you interact with the website. And as I said, where scroll is the independent variable here. So the scrolling is based on the user. So whenever the user will scroll, there will be some changes on the screen, so that increases interactivity. And also, as I said, it could also be a way to send greetings to people. So in India, there's a festival which is coming up in the next month, that is the Ganesh Utsav, and it's all about Lord Ganesha. It lasts for 10 days, and the entire country is all about Ganpati for these 10 days. So maybe we'll just build something of that sort, and will not well, it wouldn't be much of a greeting, but it would be something that would be a little bit more informative kind of thing, and or maybe a greeting. I don't know. Let's figure it out along the way, and let's see how it goes. So let's start. Firstly, I'll just remove everything from this app. Hmm, okay, that's it. Yeah, so that's it. So firstly, we need the heading. I mean, what are we talking about? So I'll just say dev dot heading and dev dot Ganesh and dev dot serve as serve. So this is actually a single word, but we are keeping it in different divs because we want different animations with it. So that's the reason. Mm, let's start the application first, and let's see how it goes. I'll start it in Chrome. Mm, so I just messed up a little bit. Okay, now this is fine. And I'll also open this CSS, just remove all of these things. I'll set heading to display flex, and flex direction would be low, and its position would be fixed. Fine. The background would be black. So how would I do that? I think I can put it down here itself. It's black. It's not working. So the app is not running. Hmm, Background black. So for the app div, I want it to be scrollable, so I need to set a static height to it, which we will keep as 15,000 pixels, and also add a background color to it that would be black. For heading, the color would be white, and yeah, that's it. So I'll just center it left 50%, top 50%, transform, translate -50%, -50%. Yeah. So this looks good. I'll have to get a font. Actually, I had a font one with me. Yeah, so this is the one I'm going to use. I'll just import it. Okay, so this is fine. Now what we got to do is we will increase the font size to, let's say, 15 rem. That looks good. I want, say, 15, 13, letter spacing 2 rem, and font weight to 100 maybe. 100 is too less, 200 I guess. 100 is fine, I guess. Letter spacing, if keep it as also this rem. Okay, never mind. We'll just add an animation to it. The entrance, it would be appear right and appear left. 0, it will be opacity would be 0, letter spacing would be -2 then, and yeah. And also let's keep something for it, transform, translate -40% and 0. Yeah, and at 100% we will keep opacity as 1, letter spacing as 2, transform, translate as 0. So this is to appear from the right. I don't know, we'll have to change some things maybe later. Appear left, keep it as 40. Okay, that looks fine. Will not worry about letter spacing as of now, and we have two divs again, dot finish and dot observe. In the finish we'll add an animation, appear left, 1 second, ease out. Ease in out is good. Ease in out. Fine. And the same thing with observe, appear from here to right. Okay, so that looks fine by the way. But the letter spacing is going too fast actually. So I'll just increase. Wait, that's fine. I'll just reduce this a bit more. And also I don't know, the letter spacing gets down to, I think I'll have to add this also. Yeah, that works. Okay, that works. Now let's move on, and now what I want to do here is that I just want another div to be coming up, and that should be white. Now I'm not I don't want the entire background to be black throughout the screen. So a white div will be coming up. Along with that, this heading will be shifting towards the top. So this is something that we have to implement now. Mm, okay, so let's get going. Dev.main content, dev.main, sorry, main content, and let's add some styling to main content. Its color should be white. I mean, the background color should be white, color should be black, and its height should be 100 of the viewport, and width should be 100 of the viewport width. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that works. So this main content should be fixed, position should be fixed, and the background color is white, color is black. Okay, everything is fine. And initially it should be down under the screen out of the viewport, so that would mean that its top should be assigned with 100%, and with scroll the top will change. The similar operation will be going on with heading. Its top is 50%, but this top will be handled better with React because we also need to change it. So yeah, so top, heading top, set heading top equals yield state. Initially it's going to be 50%, so 50, and main content, I would say, yeah, main content top, set main content top equals yield state. Initially it's going to be 100. I'll add all these hooks that we are going to use effect from React. Okay, that's it. Also, we need to keep a track of scroll. So we need to make a state variable for scroll, because the issue that occurs is if we add a window.scroll by here itself. So yeah, so basically if you want to get the scroll position, you can just simply write window.scroll, and you can get the x and y, both the positions. We are dealing only with y position currently. So if you just, let's say if you want to make a div appear only after certain scroll, so if you just add here window.scroll y, it won't, the React application would not deal properly with it. So for it to work properly, we need to have state variables, because mounting and unmounting of the elements is done by React only when the state variable changes. So that is why it's always safe to use state variables in any case. So we'll have a scroll handler over here first, and it will always set scroll to window.scroll y, and also we need to add an event listener to the document. So it would be window.add event listener. on scroll it should be handle scroll, and when the uh, the app unmounts, at that time we can remove the event listener. Yeah, so that's it. The basics are done. The basic is set up. Now we need to move on to handle the heading top and main content top according to the linear equations, because the heading top and main content top are dependent on the scroll position. So there's a dependent variable and an independent variable. So we will now work with the linear equation. We'll have to find the linear equation and then we'll work with it. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So what do we have here is heading top and scroll. So there are two things. One is the initial values, and the other is the final values. So we just need these two values so that we get 2 points, and from those 2 points we can create a linear equation. And the other things that we have is scroll position. So scroll, everything that is going to move around on this document is going to be according to the scroll position, and the dependent variable is the heading top. So this scroll position will obviously be the x in the linear equation, and this would be the y of the linear equation. Right. So now let's think about it. We have 15,000 pixels down our screen, and yeah. So okay. So for heading, what I want to do is initially the scroll position is 0, and from 0 to 2000, I'll will do this first animation from 0 to 2000. So if scroll is greater than 0 and scroll is less than 2000, what are we going to do? Now at scroll positions we do have, one is the initial and the other is the final. Final is 2000, initial is 0. And at 0, at scroll position 0, the heading top is going to be okay, so we have a heading, and that heading would be at 50%, as we had initially added it in our styles. So the initial heading would be 50, but later on it will rise up. So I'll just have to check this a little bit. I don't know where the heading lies. Okay, so the heading is here now. No. Okay, so we have not assigned any top to it, but I guess 35, 15, maybe 15% might do. So let's just try. The final position will be 15, and we'll have to create an equation out of it. So we'll just apply the formula straight away. Y minus y1, well, let's say I'll start with 15 equals, let's find the slope now, y1 minus y2. So 50 minus 15 is 35, and 0 minus 2000 is 2000, and a negative sign to the complete expression into x minus x1. So x minus x1 would be 15, so it would be 2000, and the equation at the end would turn out to be, we'll not solve this equation, we'll just enter this directly on into our code, x minus 2000 plus 15. So this is the final equation that we'll be working with a negative sign over here. I'll just copy this straight away, and we'll create a new handle heading top, and just add this equation, set heading top, and yeah, that's it. This would be scroll. Yeah, and we have a multiplication sign over here. Just wrap it into a bracket, and that's it. Handle heading top. So, and also we'll add it up here. Handle heading top. Also, we need a handler for main content top, and we will set main content top according to the equation that we will obtain. So from 0 to 2000, this is simple. It will go from 100 to 0, and let's solve this now. Y minus 0, let's say y minus 0, and it would be 100 minus 0 would give me 100, 0 minus 2000 minus 20 minus 2000, and then x minus 2000. Okay, that's fine. Minus 100 by 2000 would give me minus 1 by 20 times of x minus 2000, and this 0 will come onto the right hand side. I guess that's correct. X minus 2000, yeah, fine. Minus 1 by 20 times of x minus 2000. So this is the equation that we'll be dealing with. So add a scroll, multiply, and the main content top is also set. Handle main content top. If also, let's just handle this equation as this condition as well. If scroll is less than equal to 0, we need to set the heading top as initially it's 50, and set main content top as 0, I mean 100. Also, if scroll is greater than 2000, the first thing that we want to do is set heading top as 35. It was 15 actually. So 15, and set main content top as 0. Yeah, so I hope that should work. So the main content is not here. The background color of app is black, the heading is white, but still okay. So we have not added these styles to the heading and app. So heading and main content. So style top. Let's top as heading top percent. Also for the main content, style equals top, and color main content top. Fine. Just hope that works. So for the heading it's working, not for the main content. Main content. Okay, so there is some problem. Handle main content top. Initially it's 100, and if I just put over a 2000, yeah, it should work actually. Okay, percent. Yeah, now this works. Yeah, this works great. The only thing is that we just have to prevent this, and we have to set the main content top completely to 100. We are doing this actually. Less than equal to 0, and greater than 2000. It should work nicely, and this works, but causes a problem over here. Scroll is less than equal to 0. When you scroll down faster, this might not get recorded. I'll just say window.scroll. Let's see. It should work nicely now. No, it's still not working. I just change these functions because accessing a state variable is more difficult. So let's see. Yeah, this works. Mm, let's replace this as well. Only the state variable will be accessed by the the divs, and I mean whatever has to be returned. The state variable will be accessed only by whatever has to be returned and nothing else. Okay, now I also need to uh, okay, so for app, the z index, let's keep it as 0. For heading, the z index has to be a bit greater because I want the background to come from behind the heading, and for main content, let's keep it as 2. That should work. And if window dot scroll y is greater than 15 or 1200, it will just change the heading color to white. And this is also another state variable, heading color, set heading color equals the state. Initially it's going to be black, and once okay, if it goes below 1200, set heading color to be black. Handle both the cases, just shift it above, and that's it. Top is decided, color would be heading color. Fine. Just remove the color from here. That should do. It's working the other way around. If it's less than 1200, it should be white, or else it should be black. Initially, it should be white only, right? Okay, that works great. That works fine. Now we need to bring the content up. I would rather, because we are more focused here on the linear equations and how and what all scope does it offer while working with these applications, we won't be much into where what content has to be placed and what, and from the user's perspective what would be more convenient and all of those things. We would not dive into all of that. So that is why I will just keep everything in the center of the div of the screen, so that we find it more easier while making it responsive and working with the portrait mode or working with the smaller screens. So that is why I'll be keeping everything in the center itself. So yeah, this is done. Now the next thing that we can do is, I would have added some illustration of the of Lord Ganesha, but um, I really don't have any. So okay, so we just have to deal only with text. Okay, so Let's do something now. Let's add some text here. Um, let's add some description. Div dot description maybe. What should we add? So what I'm planning is we'll add some text, and when we scroll down, some words of that text would go upwards and some words would go downwards. And yeah, so this is something that I'm thinking of. Let's see how we can implement that. Actually, we can hard code it, or no, let's not hard code it. We will just, I mean, we will keep it dynamic, not dynamic as such, but we will just allow the developer or the user to uh, keep any text, I mean to input any text, and that text should be working with the animation that we are building up. Okay, so description text set description. Let's not set this up here. I'll set it up at the top because nobody is going to change this. Once description text will be the mm, okay. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. The end to a longing for celebration and devotion. Yeah, that looks fine enough. Let's not think a lot about it. The end to a longing for celebration and devotion. Yeah, fine. Yeah, so the next thing is what we will be doing is we will be having two classes of words. One will be the words that will go upwards and the other will be the words that will go downwards. So for both the classes we will, I mean for both type of words we will assign a different class to them. So why was the dynamicity that I was talking about is something that you would observe here, because I don't want, if the other day somebody just gives you a nice sentence and you add that text over here, you will have, if you just hard code it, you will have to change everything inside this div. So it's better to keep a text different, and we can now uh, dynamically perform some operations on this. So I'll just split according to the spaces, and then map all of those word. Let's say it would be a word. Map it to div dot. I'll have to check here if the word. mm, if I can, there's an index field. If I can keep a track of index, I'll just say that if index is even, then I would add the class as what up div dot word up div dot word up, and the word would be word, or else it would be div dot word down, and it would be the word. Okay, fine. So that should be fine. Yeah, that looks fine. Also, the description div is different. Okay. Okay. So now I will add some uh, I will add some CSS for the words and the descriptions. First, let's start with the description. Display should be flex, and flex direction should be row. Along with that, the position should be fixed. For word up. Hmm. Okay, I don't know if if we really would like to make these changes, the word, I mean, different classes for word up and word down, because the variables that React would change and would change the position of these words will be in the React itself. So we will make different variables for it, different state variables for up and down, and but let's give the class name as word itself. uh, okay, fine. So let's try this. If it doesn't work, we'll roll back to word up and down. Yeah, so we don't have the spaces. Okay, so for word I'll then insert a margin right, which will be 20 pixels maybe. Fine. And also I need to set its font size, maybe 8 rem, maybe. Yeah, that is fine. Also I need to wrap this wrap, and its width must be 50%. Also I want to center this top 50 transform translate minus 50 minus 50. Okay, and along with this I also want the font, not here, I want the font weight to be the least. I'll say lighter. Okay, so I will have to increase the font weight of the our main heading, because you just can't make out a difference between both of them. So that's not something that we would like to have. I'll increase this to 200, maybe to 50 is fine. Okay, fine, no problem. I'll reduce its size to 4 RAM maybe. Yeah, yeah, that looks fine. Mm, is this the font that I want to have? I guess it's not. Yeah, this is looking fine now. Keep it as 7, 6, and width. Let's increase the width a little bit. What if 100? No, it doesn't look good. Anyways, 50 is good and 4 RAM looks good. Yeah, go with 4 RAM. And want it to appear. Okay, so whenever it appears, I want an animation for it to be triggered. Keyframes appear word appear 0% should be opacity would be 0, and transform translate minus 40% to 0, and the same thing over here, 100% opacity 1 and translate as 0. Let's see. Yeah, oh, I have not added the animation. would appear 1 second, ease out forwards. Okay, so I would not want this here. I want it in the entire description to appear at once. Yeah, that is fine. And minus 50, minus 50, minus 20. Let's see how it goes. Not minus 20. 0 to minus 50. Okay, so minus 80. Let's see. Okay, that's fine. Minus, it's too much maybe. 55. Yeah, that is fine. And the description will appear only after scroll is greater than 2500. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. Okay, we are done till here. The scroll goes about to 500 and these words appear. We would add some images as well, but I don't have any images as such to add. Now, now let's. Okay, so now for the next page, what I've thought of is we will be uh, we'll be adding some information about this festival. How did it start, and presently how all of it is going on in different parts of the country. So for that we will create a page, and for that we will create a timeline. So that timeline would be according to the years of different events that have been occurring. So how would we make this disappear? So for this to disappear, what I had planned was, as I was saying, that some words will go up and some words will go down. So yeah, that's the exact thing that we are going to do. So for this style, opacity would be upward opacity, and also I'll have to change the transform x will be as it is, y would be changing. Okay, so transform translate minus 50% dollar. I've messed up a little bit. Yeah, so upward transform. Okay, that's fine. I would like to add the same thing to the other div as well. Style transform. Okay, this thing over here, it should be downward transform. Just format. This looks better. Upward opacity set upward. opacity equals use state starting off with one constant downward opacity upward opacity set up for opacity downward opacity set downward opacity equals use state 1. Initially it's going to be 1 and the other one is transform, so it would be upward transform comma set upward transform equals use state initially it is minus 50. Did I make any mistake over here? Yes, so this has to be percent minus 50. Along with that we will have a downward transform set downward transform equals use state minus 50. Initially it's minus 50. Okay, now we have everything up here. We need handlers to handle upward words and downward words. So let's do that. Mm, handle words. Let's just keep it as handle words, and we'll enter all the set functions over here. So yeah, this is done. Now the ones that are moving upwards will go from minus 50 to something else. And when do we have to call this function? That is another important thing. So that would be done when the window dot scroll y is greater than, let's say, 2500 maybe, or 3000. Let's do it 3000. So from 3000 to window dot scroll y less than uh, 3500 or 4000, let's say. For this part, what we have to do is we will be handling words. Fine. So we'll have to create the linear equations. Opacity would be similar for both. So why have we created two different things? We don't need it. So let's just change to opacity, word opacity. Let's do it word opacity and set word opacity. Set word opacity. So that's one over here. It would be word opacity. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's go on to write an equation for it. We have the scroll positions as 3000 and 4000. Let's enter that first. 3000 and 4000. Along with that, y would be the, firstly we'll also have to look at opacity and then about the transform. So first let's look at opacity. At 3000 the opacity is 1, you got to go to 0, so y minus 0 is, let's keep it as 0 minus 1 is minus 1, minus 1 by 1000, minus 1 by 1000 times of x minus 4000. And yeah, so it would be minus 1 by 1000 times of x minus 4000. Is that correct? 0, 0 minus 1 is minus 1 by 1000 into x minus 4000. Yeah, that looks fine. Just copy this one. So this is for opacity. Set opacity as this, multiply window dot scroll y. Yeah, that's it. Now let's look at transform. So for the upward transform, I think I'll have to increase the we'll have to decrease this, so it will be a higher negative value for the upward transform. So initial is minus 50 and the final would be, let's say, let's keep it a larger value, never mind, minus 100. Let's do that. So y minus 100, which would be y plus 100, equals minus 100 minus 50 would be minus 50 upon 1000 times of x minus 4000. I'll add a plus 100 or minus 100 over here, and this would go down to minus 1 by 200 minus 20, I guess. Yeah, 520. X minus 4000 minus 100. Yeah, this looks fine. Let's copy this. Handle words, set upward transform. This is the equation. Window dot scroll y, multiply this, wrap it up in a bracket. Yeah, so this is for upward transform. For downward, we will keep it as 100. If you minus this 100 minus 150, 100 minus 50 would be 150, and 4000 minus 3000 is 1000, correct. Y minus 100, it would be x minus 4000, it would plus 150, 15 by 100. Let's not reduce this to the simplest form, keep it as it is. I think so it's needed. Set downward transform as this equation. Window dot scroll y, multiply this, wrap it up in a bracket. That's it. Handle word should work now. Okay, so the opacity is working, but the transform is not working. So let's inspect this. Yeah, so the opacity is working, but the transform is not working. Why is that so? I have not added a percentage over here. That works fine, but there's a problem with the translate thing. Minus 50, things look good here. What if I just remove this line? Okay, now it's fine. And it's not being assigned with any transform translate thing. Okay, what if I just don't add anything over here? Yeah, that is better now. Yep, so this is better now, and it will just drop these words off. Yeah, so this looks fine. I mean, obviously, it doesn't make sense to do this, but never mind. We are learning about front end. So yeah, now the next thing. Okay, I'll just make some changes. We'll have to also ensure that after before 3000 it should have its values properly, and window dot scroll y less than 3000. It should have its set downward transform to what was the initial value, -50, I guess, -50, and set upward transform to -50 and set the opacity to 1. Similarly, after 4000, I don't want it to, I don't want this component to be left mounted after 4000. So I just remove this, and yes, that's done. So the component will be removed after 4000. That's, yeah, 4100, no problem. Yeah, so this is done. Now the next thing that we need to do would be, now we need to add information about this festival. And so basically it's like writing an essay in React. So so we used to have this in our schools, that you need to write an essay over some festival or festivals in India or anything of that sort. So we used to write some history about it and any information that we would know about it. So it's just similar to that. We are writing an essay, but the language this time is React. And yeah, so that's it. So this is a nice analogy, and it will help me to not deviate from what are we going to show up on this page. Yeah, so description is done. Now what can we add next? So now we are done with the description and some animation for that description. Now the next part would be the timeline or the history that we wanted to display on the screen. So okay, so let's do something. We will be, I the thing that I have thought of is we will have such timelines, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we will be joining all of these. So firstly it will be empty, then there will be a box that will have all of the information about this timeline. Then you'll go forward as you scroll down, and then this box will appear, but this box will disappear, and so on. So we'll create such kind of a UI, and after that the ending conclusion. Actually we can put some images as well of some real-time images as well, but I'll do that later on. But for this video we'll just do this, some conclusion type of a page, and that's it, and then we are done. Okay, so let's build this up now. If it would be fine even if we don't bring up this line. we can just add these dots. Okay, let's see how it goes. Mm, okay, so the main content description is done. This is our description. Now I want the timeline. So first I have a heading timeline, and it will be timeline, or else about this festival. Okay, not just about timeline, and it would be situated somewhere over here. So for dot about timeline, just change the timeline itself. Position is fixed, and just bring it down to top as 15%. Let's bring it down to 35%, not 35, 25 is good. 30 multiple. Okay, and left 50. So transform, translate -50, 0. Okay, that's fine. I will keep it small and font style to be italic. Yeah, that looks good. And after a while, that is after we have configured till 4000, it's going to handle words at 5000. So when scroll is greater than 5000, just make it appear. I'll have an animation to this word appear. Never mind. Word appear 1 second for words. Is that okay? Yeah, that is fine. That is fine. So now that is fine, but is it? Yeah. Okay, never mind. That is fine. Now under timeline, we want to have many different things. Let's create a map here. So let's keep a map, info map, information map. Okay, now I'll just hard code this data. Okay, so now I have got some information from the Wikipedia, and I have added to the information map. Now we just need to map this up onto our application. So the same thing, I also wanted to be dynamic. I don't want it to be static. Even if I add some other field over here, I want it to be visible anyways. I don't want to hard code anything about this as well. So let's do something over here. Object. We'll have to traverse the map, and then we'll have to arrange it accordingly. Okay, so firstly, let's have object dot keys, object dot keys of key. Let's say here object dot keys of information map dot map the key to Object.keys of information map here, let's say it's here. So what will we be doing here is we will have a div dot year of the timeline. Okay, I will just say div dot timeline card and div dot year of the timeline card would be year, and another one would be div dot info of the timeline card would be information map of year. Okay, so that is how it is going to be. I'll just format document, and I don't want this right here. I want it with scroll. Okay, so let's not keep it here. Let's just keep it out of this. Yeah, so that is fine. Let's see how it looks. It doesn't look at all. Maybe some problem. Timeline card color, I would say color would be white. No, it would be black. Nothing is visible. Why is it not working? Yeah, this might be the problem. Yeah, now it's working. This is good. I want the timeline. Okay, fine. I want the display to be flex for timeline card. Display to be flex and flex direction to be low. Div dot timeline map, let's say, and you have many cards in there, so now it should look fine. Timeline card display flex. Okay, dot timeline map would be display flex and flex direction would be row. Okay, and space justify content space beam. Is this div too small? I guess. Why is this working in that way? So position timeline is fixed, right? So timeline is fixed, but so actually we don't need this animation for about timeline. I guess we'll have to create a new one because it is creating a problem. Word appear, no, about appear and animation. No, so yeah, 0%. It would be opacity would be 0. Transform translate 0 comma minus 0 comma 50% and 100%. What we will do is opacity would be 0 and translate to 0, comma 0, and this would be about here. Okay, let's see. My color should be black. If it's there, but I don't see it for some reason. Still not visible. Okay. So opacity should be 1. Okay, fine. Now this is visible, and yeah, that looks fine as well. Dot timeline map, justify content space between. The timeline is too small. I'll have to increase its size. So okay, width 100%. Timeline width 100%. Let's add some padding as well. Maybe here. Okay, never mind. We won't deal with this now. Add 80%, and yeah, that would be fine. How does this look? Okay, and the margin from top would be for 2% of 2vh or 8vh maybe. Okay, I don't want it to be italic, so font style should be normal, and font size should be increased to maybe 3 then. Font color should be, I mean, the color has to be different. I just don't want to give the black color. Just change this a little bit. Okay, that is fine. Just a bit darker. Yeah, that is fine. Okay, so I'll just do it reverse. So this is not in the order that I want it to be. So how do we deal with this? I want the 2024 to be at the end. So let's do one thing. We have another option where we can just ignore this, just change this over here. And also just change this to a colon. Change all of these things to commas except the last one, and just wrap it in a bracket. I guess that is fine. Now it's still not working, right? Hmm. I'll do this. So yeah, so I just removed the S's from the two of them, 1600 and 1700s, because it was creating. But what if I just add this and keep it as a row? Again, it will create a problem because then the map won't be able to sort it accordingly. So this is better, and yeah, everything looks fine now. Now let's do the next thing. The next thing is, okay, so how are we going to go about this? I'll just lighten it up a little bit. Yeah. So now with scroll, we just have to switch from one year to the other year, and starting with 1600, then 1700, then 1892, and we have to also display the information regarding that. This is done, the map is done. Now I will add a timeline information card, and I'll have to add the information map of uh, the year. I'll have to declare a state variable year comma set year equals new state. Initially it should be none, and when after 4000, I guess, no, so it's after 5000. After 5000, 3000, 4000, if window dot scroll y is greater than 5000, and so am I handling the words? Yeah, fine, I'm handling the edge cases of the words. Also we'll handle the other ones later. From if window dot scroll y is greater than 4000, and window dot scroll y is less than 5000. I just don't want these words to be appearing. So, so actually we are just demounting that div, so never mind. Now what we want to do is 5000 to, let's say 6000. I want the year, set year to 1600. Okay, so 1600 is the year, and okay. So also we will style this as the font. Okay, so first we'll check if here. Okay, so I'll have to change its name. Change to year info, let's say. Set year info. Fine. Set year to 1600. Set year info to 1600. And set info will also have to have const timeline info. Set timeline info is equal to useState empty year info. Set timeline info to do we need this? I don't think so. We need this. We'll just do year info. Year info. If year info is equal to year, check. Okay, so this won't work like this. I'll have to have the font size increased and also the color changed. So font size would increase from 3 rem to 3.5 rem. So font size, okay, and I'll just check if year info equal to year, then the font size would be 3.5 rem, or else it would be 3 rem. Okay, so this is fine. I'll just put it down. It's getting a bit messed up. Font size is done, and the other part is color. So the color would be year info equals year, then the color would be completely black, or else it would be this one. Okay, so that is fine. Okay, so that is fine, and the information map should show the information. Okay, so there's a problem here inside the timeline map. Okay, just bring this out of timeline map. Yeah, now this is working fine. Timeline map. Yeah, let's should be something of this sort. Information map. I would say year info and also so it should just appear, and I just want to make it look a bit better as well. So how would we do that? Dot timeline information. Font size would be 3 is fine. Font style should be normal, and font weight should be 100 maybe. let's give a margin, let's give a padding of 20 or more, maybe 20. Let's give it 100. It's too much, maybe 80 is fine. Okay, so this is fine, and also I will change its font style. Font style, the same thing, bolder, or else it should be normal. Okay, fine. Now we'll have to set all of these things up in the handler. Window.scrollby is less than 6000. So for 5000 to 6000 it's 1600. From 6000 to 7000 it would be 1700. Similarly for the next 3 years, 7000 to 8000, and then you have 8000 to 9000, and 9000 to 10,000. So 16 is done, 17 is done, 18, 92, 1893, and 2024. Okay, so yeah, this looks nice. Yeah, so as you can see, with the scroll amount, the years are changing, and you can see the entire timeline over here itself. And now the next part would be the final conclusion. So in the next part, I would say I would bring back my black background as well, and also bring down this div, and and what else can we do? Yeah, that's it. I can just bring the black background again, bring down this div, convert its color to white as well, mm, and I just need some image or something. I never mind. I'll just do this and some message at the end. Fine. Okay, so this thing is also not configured. We want the timeline map to be available only after a certain scroll amount. So the about is visible after scroll greater than 5000, and yeah, so the same thing here. It should be available. Okay, scroll is greater than 5000, and scroll is less than 10,000. So that's it. If it's okay, so this is fine. And then scroll is less than 10,000. Okay, so I hope that will be fine. For the timeline map also, I will have to add this animation about appear about appear 1 second forwards. Okay, that's fine as of now. The next thing that we would like to do is the final thing. So let's now take down this div back, and okay, so let's now take this bit div back down also, and change this color to white as well, and also write some message at the end. Okay, fine. So this is the final thing that we will be doing. Hmm. So let's do that. For if window dot scroll y is greater than 10,000 and window dot scroll y is less than 12,000, I'll be doing this. What would I do is handle mm, handle closing is the function that I will call. Const handle closing. I'll deal with the heading top and main content top here itself. So we'll have to write some equations here. Uh, let's write something. So 10,000 is the initial, I'm sorry. So yeah, so 10,000 is the initial and 12,000 is the final. The heading top currently is 15. Okay, so the heading top goes from 15 to maybe 50, yeah, 50, and also the, okay, so let's calculate for this first. Y minus 50 equals 50 minus 15 is 35, and 12,000, 2,000, x minus 12,000. Okay, so this is the equation that we will be getting. 35 by 2,000 x minus 12,000 plus 50. So this is the equation. Just copy this and set heading top to this. It is window dot scroll y, multiply, wrap it up. That's it. For another thing that we have to do is set the main content. No, set the, okay, so set the main content of, like, main content of. And okay, so initially at 10,000 it is 100, and finally what, no, it's 0. It's 0 at 10,000, and finally we want it to be 100. So y minus 100 is equal to 100 minus 0 would be 100. Okay, 100 by 2000 times of x minus 12,000. So this would be 1 by 20 x minus 2000 plus 100. So this is the equation that we will be using. Multiply and window dot scroll y. Okay, so I just hope that this works. Yeah, this works. And also change the color after if window dot scroll y is greater than 11,000, just change the set heading color to black. Okay, no, set heading color to Right, fine. Yes, 11,000 is too much. So let's do it 1,500. Yeah, and this is fine. Mm, we just need to set the edge cases for heading top and main content top. So if it's less than 12,000, handle closing. If window dot close y goes above 12,000, the heading top will be at 50 and the main content top will be at 100. Okay, and if it is less than 12,000, we have this setup. Okay, yeah, fine, I guess. Should work. Yeah, so this is a problem because I have also set the heading top here and I'm also trying to do that again over here. So how should we solve this? So this is working fine. This is also working fine. This is also working fine. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's just remove unmount this main content top after 12,000. That's the better way. Okay, so go from here and tap it, scroll less than 12,000. After 12 at 12,000, let's go into unmount. We just have our heading and let's add something also, something down as well. So at the end, we would like this to appear. The dot message enjoy. Mm, may the modaks treat you well this season. So modaks are the delicacies of this season. So that is why I mentioned it here. So it's if the scroll is greater than 12,000, I'll just make this appear. I'll add a message animation would be about the same thing. Okay, so the position has to be fixed along with this, the color has to be white. I don't know where is this thing. Didn't I save this? Okay, so yeah, I hadn't saved it. It's working now. Okay, so font. I just want the font family. Yeah, font family, add it here. Font size should be 2 rem. Font style should be italic. And I just don't want this to be capital. Font weight would be 100 and position fixed. Yeah, position is fixed. Transform, no, top should be 50, left should be 50, transform, translate minus 50, 50. This is not in the right place. Left is 50 and text align center. Okay, so this is fine for now, but I don't know why this div is not coming in the center. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's stay away from all of these things. Top I'll have to keep more than 50 anyways. Left I don't care about. Width I'll keep it as 100. And yeah, so the rest of the things will be fine. Yeah, so now it's fine. So that was all about, okay, so here's the problem. When you roll it up below, let's say the last 2024 is 10,000 handle closing. I will just set the main content top as 0 over here, which means yeah, now this will work good. We are not done yet. We need to look after how it looks at in smaller screens. Okay, so I guess we just need to change some sizes, and I guess that would be done. So let's look at this. I think so we have not changed any sizes in the React. I'll just add a media screen. Okay, so I've added some media queries and it looks fine. It's not the best, but okay, that's fine. Uh, yeah, so the problem that is occurring is on this page. Everything is going out of this page. So I'll have to also look after the media queries in React and then accordingly adjust this. So for that, I need to see how to get media, how to detect if a portrait screen in React. Okay. Okay, so this is something that we will be using window.matchMedia.matches. Okay. Okay, so yeah, if this is your info equals here, and if matches, just check. If yes, then it's a portrait. Then just keep it to 2 RAM. If it's not a portrait, then keep it to 3.5 RAM. And yeah, so do I need one more? No, I don't need one more, I guess. And if it doesn't match, so this is one expression. 1.8 RAM or 1 RAM. This doesn't match. Then once again check this, then put it as 3.5 RAM or 3 RAM. Yeah, so this is how it will be working. Hmm. So I guess it should work. Yeah, and that's working now. So yeah, that's it from my side. Everything, I guess most of the things are covered. I just wanted to share how does this linear equations thing work. And the only thing that we had spent a lot of time on was CSS. If we use many different frameworks like Tailwind or anything of that sort, some of these things can be prevented. But if you want to make these animations and stuff, CSS is important, and I think we will have to make use of CSS, because CSS is something that boils down to the basics. If you use a Tailwind CSS or any framework above or on top of that, obviously it won't give you the granular control that the vanilla CSS will give you. So that's it from my side, and thank you so much.